it's an idiot that's in the White House. We know that, but he hires idiots. And one of the biggest ones is Karoline Leavitt, big-time liar, White House spokesman. And, boy, she just straight lied from the podium regarding some reporting of the BBC. And they did a brutal fact check of this fool. And I saw it, and I said, we got to roll it.
On Tuesday, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt was asked about reports that Israeli forces had killed Palestinians near an aid distribution centre in Gaza. Her reply was an attack on the BBC and was repeatedly false.
We don't take the word of Hamas with total truth. We like to look into it when they speak, unlike the BBC, who had multiple headlines. They wrote, Israeli tank kills 26, Israeli tank kills 21, Israeli gunfire kills 31, Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident, and then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
This contains a mix of misrepresentations and untruths. When speaking, Karoline Leavitt held up a printout. It showed a post on X by a student activist. Its focus, and hers, was the BBC's coverage on Sunday. Residents had reported Israeli fire near an aid centre. Over the course of the day, the BBC repeatedly updated its coverage, as is standard on a breaking news story. Updated claims on fatalities were all clearly attributed to a number of sources in Gaza, including the Red Cross, which is an independent organisation. Sourcing like this is standard when a story is evolving and details are hard to confirm. It's also a necessary aspect of covering this conflict, given Israel doesn't allow international news organisations into Gaza. During the press conference, Karoline Leavitt also had this particular criticism.
Unfortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with total truth.
But BBC News didn't do that. It did quote the Hamas-run health ministry with clear attribution. The ministry, which is part of the Hamas-controlled government, is the main source of official information when it comes to casualties in Gaza. The BBC also reported statements it received from the Israel Defense Forces, which called the reports false and urged the media to be cautious. Karoline Leavitt also made this claim.
They had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
This isn't true. The BBC didn't take down any of its coverage on this story. The articles remain online. And Karoline Leavitt attributed this false claim to what she called a review of footage. That appears to be a reference to this BBC Verified live page post that looked at a widely shared video that some were claiming showed events near the aid centre. Using geolocation, BBC Verified confirmed that the video actually showed a different event, several kilometres away. This wasn't a BBC video being assessed, it wasn't a retraction, it wasn't a BBC admission of error. The live page post had been highlighted by the same X account Karoline Leavitt had referenced. It misrepresented what BBC Verify had done. The White House then repeated the misrepresentation. For its part, the BBC says it stands by its journalism and has called once again to be allowed access to Gaza. Having made this range of false claims, Karoline Leavitt had a further point to make.
We're going to look into reports before we confirm them from this podium or before we take action, and I suggest that journalists who actually care about truth do the same to reduce the amount of misinformation that's going around the globe on this front.
But in this case, either the White House didn't look into its claims about the BBC before bringing them to the podium, or had no concern that they weren't true.
How arrogant can you be, Karoline Leavitt, to stand up there and we're going to check things first when you didn't even check a Twitter account that advanced a lie? These people are despicable. I keep telling y'all how trifling they are, and she is the chief liar. And just because she's convincing lying does not make her right. Oh, she is a convincing liar. Oh, she speaks with an authoritative voice. She is confident in her line, but Karoline Leavitt is a damn liar. That's what she is, Michael.
Oh, absolutely. And she is the spokesperson for the liar-in-chief who the Washington Post documented in his first term in office, told over 30,000 lies and false and misleading statements. And yeah, it really is. It takes a lot of unmitigated gall to stand there and try to chastise the media when she's up here speaking, representing for Mr. 200 trade deals. Donald Trump, who claimed they've made 200 trade deals in the last few months Okay, where is that? And then it's commonplace when you have a breaking news story. I've been in media 15 years. Okay, it's commonplace when you have a breaking news story to constantly update the news story as you get more information. That's why when we're on live, you refresh your screen multiple times for breaking news stories. So this is what the BBC did. But I'm glad they put this fact check out. Hopefully that fact check goes viral. Okay, to hold her accountable. And this is what you have to do with liars like this who use their position in the government to perpetuate false information.
Tyler, I'm looking for this video. Michael talked about these trade deals. There was this on Fox News, one of these trade. If you want to laugh about this here, hold on one second. Let me see if I can find the video. Because Bill Hemmer was interviewing one of these lying fools with Trump's administration, and the guy was talking about the trade deals, and we're going to be signing these, and even Bill Hemmer was like, okay, well, can you name one? And the guy's like, I can't do that right now. These people literally are insane. Matter of fact, okay, I found the video. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. Y'all, this is, I was like. But, they've been telling us now for weeks, we've got 7,500. We got 1,000 companies, 1,000 countries trying to reach us to do trade deals. Can you name one? No, I can't really name one. But it's happening. It's happening. Listen to this, y'all.
Who goes first, if anyone, as of today?
You mean who goes first in terms of countries?
In a new deal, correct.
Yeah, so there's a number of deals in the works. Our trading partners, particularly in Asia and in Europe as well. And, I expect that these deals to come out in a flurry as we get closer to the deadline. Some might come out very soon, but I expect there to be a flurry as we get closer to the deadline because of the process in which these deals are proceeding, where there's steps that everyone is taking to move the deal forward. And those steps are designed to yield success around the time of the deadline.
Got it. So I'm just, I mean to interrupt, but every time we do these segments, I'm just trying to find the name of a country. Who will be first in line? Can we say today which country that will be?
I cannot. I'm not.
While screaming socialism.
No, I can't. Tyler, I can't name one.
And look, I think that in itself tells how we are the laughing stock of the world. I mean, when we got the press secretary and folks that are supposed to be leading our country who can't even name a country of that instance, or even tell the truth behind the press secretary's desk. And I think it just shows how fragile our democracy is and how of a laughing stock we are. Elections have consequences, and it's sad to see what we're looking at. We are a laughing stock.
These folks lie and lie and lie, Matt. They just lie.
They do, but what's scary is they've lied enough and created an environment enough where people don't believe things or don't have critical thinking, right? The idea that the BBC would continuously update its coverage with new information should be something that is understood, right? Just simply, that's how it works in journalism, at least as far as I can tell. You get new information, you update it. But to characterize it as though they were wrong all the times before is part and parcel with the kind of disinformation and the kind of attack on truth and creation of alternative facts that we've seen them do since the first Trump administration. And it's effective to the group of people that they're talking to in making them question everything. It's really ridiculous. And frankly, it is part and parcel with exactly what we saw with COVID. During COVID, I remember being baffled that there wasn't like a basic understanding of the scientific method. You remember during that time, Fauci would get on TV and say, we've learned this one thing. It's changed our position or our opinion. We're now thinking this. Well, it was characterized like that was emblematic of them not being good scientists, rather than that being a part of how science works. You get new evidence, you change your position. So similar to that, this is the kind of thing that you see. You see attack on truth and the attack on the evolution of information via, what's reported. So, I mean, it's sad that it's coming out of the White House, an officially sanctioned part of our United States government that should be giving people good information. But